Hi, everybody. We have Cruz with us here today, passing by the Heatmix Life to talk to us a little bit about his projects and his music and his EP that's coming out next month. How are you, Cruz? Thanks for stopping by the show.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to do this podcast with you guys, these episodes. This is going to be great.
Awesome. I'm so excited that you're here because you have a very interesting background when it comes to music, which makes you a perfect artist to have on the show because you're bilingual. And as everybody knows, this podcast is kind of bilingual. So we have a little bit of Spanish and a little bit of English, so we're all over the place. You mesh very well with the show. So I wanted to get right into it. I wanted to get right into it and talk about how your past as a DJ and producer and writer and everything has made you into the independent artist that you are today.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and thank you for touching on that. It goes back to when I was a kid. I always wanted to do music. That's like everything I've ever wanted to do and focus on since I was a kid. So, when I was a middle school, student, I was trying to figure out how to do beats, and write lyrics and make songs. But when I got to high school, then that's when I really started taking it serious, started, practicing, making my own production, learning what programs to use, how producers were doing production back then. And it just with time, kept going at it, and that my music production from high school and how I was distributing my music and other people that I was producing for at the time, all the work that I was doing in high school with music actually got me a full ride scholarship to go to school at Sacramento State University in California. And, I went over there, kept producing music, putting it out, but also learning the business side of it. I graduated with a business degree, focused in marketing, and just took my music production with business skills that I learned in college and kept distributing my music, producing music, understanding how to push the music to the market and how we can do it independently, with your own team and having that team that can really support you and push the process, right?
Yeah, it's very important to know. Yeah, it's very important to have both sides of it, both the artist side and then the business side, because as we all know, this music industry can be a monster, to say the least. So it's always good to have both skills. So you write your own music, you produce it, you also DJ. So how has it been kind of balancing all of that and really finding your niche?
I write all my lyrics, all my music, do all my production, all my instrumentals on music, recording, and I do it in English and Spanish just because it came natural to me. I spoke both languages growing up, and it was just a natural feeling, just doing it in both languages. And, balancing it came really natural, trying to learn how to push my music on my own. And like I mentioned in high school, I was trying to figure out how to get my music heard. So, I would DJ a house party, right? So I would bring my laptop, some speaker, save up, flip the money, get something, then flip it, and then eventually get a speaker, then 2 speakers, right? And I would just DJ like house parties, listen to the radio, watch, at the time, the TV shows that showed all the popular music that was, popping. So I would mix that with whatever was going on in the area locally, YouTube, and just started DJing at the high school level and understanding how to, what people were vibing to, what they respond to, what they like to hear, but also the messages that they like to hear. So at parties, like something, but, how to take that vibe and make a song that's not for a party. It's more like a chill or a reflection, or a relationship or, whatever is going on in people's minds. But, as a DJ, just understanding how people react to music is a crucial part. So that helped me with my production, understanding how to structure a song that people are going to respond to, and balancing all of them. It just came natural. It just came natural, trying to do music production, but trying to distribute it to the people, understanding how they're going to work. And, sometimes DJs were not that cooperative, so you got to put out your own music, and paying someone to do like a art, like a cover art, for your single or something, maybe it was too expensive at the time, and it was. So I would just try to figure out how to design it on my own, and then keep practicing and keep practicing. And, you know, music, same thing. You know, I started making beats just because I liked it, but also because it was expensive to try and pay someone to make a beat. And I decided to have my own studio since a very young age because it was just too expensive to, you know, I just couldn't afford to go to a big studio and pay every single time I wanted to record. So I started learning how to record on my own and how to mix music and mix and master, understanding, you know, all the technicalities that goes into music production. And, you know, you just practice doing, you know, repetition, until it just came natural, right? And the whole process, and everything from writing the song, making an instrumental, putting them together, feeling the vibe, and then thinking of how to distribute it, and keeping up with the times, right? Social media kicks in, MySpace kicks in, then Facebook kicks in, you know, now Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, you know, so, I mean, Twitter, all these handles, so it's just kind of keeping up with how the product is going to be distributed, and it just comes natural when you're doing it independently. You know, a lot of guys, you know, they get frustrated, they like stumble upon like an issue, you know, trying to get the process out, so they stop. But you know, I'm very determined, so I definitely never wanted to stop, and I don't recommend anyone to. On the contrary, when you find something difficult, that's when you really double down and learn how to get past it, and then that's actually going to make you a stronger artist all around.
Yeah, definitely. The key to success is just you got to keep going no matter what.
Absolutely.
What you face. So let me get right into the music. You have like 3 songs out, so I want us to touch base on each of them, and then we'll talk about the EP a little.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk about Así Como Llegaste. This one was really
Así Como Llegaste.
This one stuck out to me because you actually debuted the music video on Univision. So how was that experience? How does that even happen? Like, that's awesome. It's amazing.
No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know, throughout the years, again, you know, with producing music and networking, that's another key. You know, is learning the business, but also when you're distributing your music, you got to really network and present yourself in a professional manner, because you never know who's going to listen or who is watching. And since a very young age, I actually started my relationship with Univision. I was about 15 when I met one of the reporters / anchorman. You know, shout out Jairo Diaz Pedraza. I approached him. I was 15, and I had my music in my little, you know, MP3 player, and I presented myself very professionally. Hey, man, check this out. It was a festival, and you know, like a family festival, like a state fair kind of thing. And I just saw him. I approached him. I was like, hey, listen, man, I got some music. I'm a local artist. Check it out. And I had my headphones ready to go, and he gave me a shot. You know, the worst that they could say is no. And luckily, you know, he said yes. And from that day, I mean, it wasn't right away that it was like, okay, you know, we're gonna just put you on TV. But that got me in his radar. And then you know, his friends and the other reporters, and through the years, you know, you keep pushing the music, and they keep seeing that consistency. And then, you know, doing other projects outside of music, you know, maybe some marketing projects for different entities, and they start seeing your work all around. You never know when that opportunity is going to come. And you know, I got on Univision earlier, right when I got into college. That was my first time I got on Univision to promote my music. You know, but it tied into education. You know, like I stated, I got a full ride scholarship for business and music. So that tied in to my first appearance on Univision. But then that kept me in their radar. They kept seeing my work, and when I felt I was ready to really tackle it, right? How you see it now with these 3 singles, you know, I approached them and showed them what the product that I had, which was start my songs. And, you know, I asked for an opportunity. You know, is it okay? You know, do you guys want to put this on TV? You know, how can we work on presenting this to the people? And one of the producers, you know, that knows my work within music and with other projects, gave me she gave me a chance, and I came on TV, presented it, and we had really, really good response from the viewers, from people, online during the show, and of course after, when it goes on the internet, and people, reacted positively to it, and they liked it, and so that set the standard that, hey, this guy's independent, but he has quality music, he has quality production, and after that, it was just keeping that relationship alive with the producers of the television shows, and to the point where I can now it's like hey, call so and so and check it out. I got a new song. What do you think? And if they invite me on the show, which luckily they've invited me a couple times now to perform and present my product to the people. That's how you get on that, build those relationships, but make sure that you have the best quality product possible.
Yeah. Has to be a good mix of both. It can't just be one or the other. You got to have both. You have to have a quality product and have those relationships to make it real. So then let's talk about this other song, because I found that this was really cool. Because Becky G actually did a response song to it. Not sure if they marketed it that way, but it was to the T a response to your song Me Perteneces a Mí. So how did it feel to see Becky G actually make a response to your song?
Well, when I actually didn't hear the song, shout out to Becky G if you hear this out, or if you're listening, hit me up. Let's work on something. But what happened was, I was in the studio working on the new single that I just dropped last week. But one of my boys called me. He goes, "Hey, have you heard that Becky G album?" And then he showed me the song. I hadn't heard it. I heard some of her singles, but not the full album. So I went to go listen to it, and first time, it's a total coincidence. I understand it's a total coincidence. We don't have production, that we do, and sometimes the topics may cross paths, but it just sounded like an actual response to the single I had released earlier, a couple months before that. So just seeing that and seeing that it kind of matches that song as a response. It just felt good, and having people respond to that as well, right? Having other people recognize that my song, when they hear a major artist like Becky G and her production team, right? It's a good feeling. I know it's a total coincidence, but at the end of the day, just having that recognition that, man, your song is at that quality level of Becky G or any other major artist, that's what made me feel good. And I put it on social media to see what people thought, and a lot of people definitely agree that it sounds like a response. So shout out again Becky G and her whole team.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a response. At first I was like, no way, but as I heard them side by side, I was like, yeah, this is like pretty much a direct response, which is like insane to have that. Yeah,
isn't it crazy?
Yeah. So then let's move on to now, or like literally just last week, you dropped the first song of 2020, which is a very interesting song, because the way that it starts, I wasn't prepared for, I would say, because it's definitely because of the beat that you use. I was like,
Absolutely.
Oh, this is going to be a Spanish song, and then you start off with that beat, and I was like, wait, what? What just happened? This is not what I was what I was prepared for. Tell me a little bit about that song and why you chose that juvenile beat.
Absolutely. So, I've always been a big Juvenile and Manny Fresh fan, Hot Boys, Cash Money fan, growing up. And, going back to the whole full circle of DJing and also doing music production, that thing has always been a club banger, a hit, a must-have in your, as a DJ arsenal, because to this day, that beat, Manny Fresh was so ahead of his time with that bounce, with that hit, that to this day, you play that song at a club and everyone, reacts to it. They have that reaction. They know it's party time. They know it's show time when they hear the strings at the beginning. That dun, 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 dun. It's time. It's time to get the party cracking. So I was inspired to sample that just because, you know, it's a new decade coming in, and you know, at the beginning of the song of the original, Juvenile says, you know, it's like classic, right? When he says from the 99 to 2000.
Yeah,
so
classic.
The fact, exactly. So the fact that he dropped that around that time and that song is still relevant, you know, it was just kind of like a creative decision of, well, we're going into a new decade. It's going to be 2020. Let's give this a flip. You know what I mean? And bring it to the culture, because I've heard a lot of songs be sampled in Spanish music. Anuel and Ozuna and Daddy Yankee, just the whole team, they just sampled Wasn't Me, right, with China, but no one that I've heard has sampled back that thing up, and especially in Spanish, like in our cultura, you know, like in Latin America. I don't know if that song hits over there, but what I do know is that people react to that. So I took it and, you know, threw the sample in and figure out how to play the chords, and then just, I give you that beginning sample so you know what song it is, but then as soon as the beat hits, everything flips, like the chords flip, the vibe hits, you know, like the vibe flips, and then the melody, I honor, you know, I was paying homage to Juvenile with some of the harmonies, but then I decided to, you know, unite that, his flow and harmony, you know, like the melody that through his rapping, with a brand new one that I can just be original with and sing that hook, you know what I mean, and the verses through them as well. So it was definitely an interesting song choice. Literally like a couple weeks before the new year, I was like, you know what, I have it in the arsenal, but I really need to like finish this before New Year's. On the 31st, I like sent the DJ packs out to a whole bunch of DJs that reached out. You know, I was like, here you go, you guys have it, New Year's parties, wherever you're at, give it a go. And shout out to all the DJs, you know, so many to mention that have supported and understood that music was coming their way, and they, you know, really good feedback from them. So that I'm really happy with that, and it's now gonna, you know, put it on YouTube also to see how people were gonna react on the 1st of January. You know, just to see how people were gonna react to it. Again, you know, great feedback. So now it's gonna be one of the songs we're gonna put on the project, and even though I sampled it, I played all of the instruments on it, and you know, just inspired from the original song, it's gonna make it on the project that I have coming up for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I was curious about that because we all know that getting samples cleared and putting samples on projects can be a little tedious, to say the least.
Absolutely. So, but you know where the strength is at too, you know, and that I mentioned it. Right? A lot of the times when people are trying to clear samples, right, it's for songs that they're trying to make it their main single or really make money from it, or when, you know, when you're with a record company, everyone's trying to make money from it. But because I'm independent 100%, I can make the choice of, you know what, let's do this for the culture. I don't care if I get paid on this or not. Let's just put it out there and give it to the people. You know what I mean? And clearing that sample, you know, I played all the instruments and everything, but when you have your digital distributor, they have the option now, and you know, this major key for all the artists listening, if you're sampling something, you know, you can pay a fee when you're about to distribute the song digitally, that they will go and clear that sample for you, even though if it's played or something, you know, or if it's like a cover, they'll you know, you pay a fee and then you clear that sample for a certain amount of time. Actually, they make sure the way that I go about it, they'll make sure that the rights and the payments go to the appropriate channels. Whoever owns that track is going to get paid for that. You know what I mean? But if that's the beauty of being independent, I can make that call where I'm like, you know, I don't care if I get paid off. Acercate a mí. You know what I mean? I just want that out there for the culture, and you know, just inspired, and it's definitely something that needed to be done. And who knows? Maybe, you know, if another artist hears it, they might, you know, that's in a major label, and they want to do like a remix to it, or maybe use the same beat or the production. then, that's another talk that we can have. But, I just did it out of inspiration, out of love, because that song and Manny Fresh has always been a production inspiration for me. The way that he made all his beats, back then there was no, Instagram or none of that, so you had to really go search on YouTube or sit there and watch BET to whenever they were going to do like a special on Manny Fresh or Kanye or Pharrell, or buy their DVDs to see how they work in the studio. So Manny Fresh, shout outs to you too, man. Like, he's always been a great inspiration, especially with that New Orleans sound, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Manny Fresh is definitely a big inspiration and big staple in the culture, I would say, for sure. So speaking of the project, since we're going to actually have this song in the project, that's super exciting. Tell us a little bit more about the project, when it's dropping, the name, just any little tidbits that you can actually give.
And this is the first time I mentioned it on the podcast, so I'm very happy. I'm very confident about this project now. Because production-wise, I want to make sure that everything's picture perfect for it. But I feel really confident, especially with the response from these 3 singles that I've released for the project. Hopefully, I'll release it in the next couple of months. That's where I'm aiming to do it. And when we have a final date, I'll definitely let you guys know. But I'm aiming for the next couple months. It's going to be called Heartbreak Mayhem, and it's going to be a bilingual project, English and Spanish, hip-hop and reggaeton and trap. The whole mix.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely, yeah, like I'm fusing all the sounds in this project, and it's called Heartbreak Mayhem because I'm going to take a chance here. Like a lot of rappers, shout out to all the colleagues, but I don't want to talk about violence. I don't want to talk about, all this extra, something that, a lot of men don't really talk about, which is heartbreak, right? There's a lot of heartbreak songs out there for the ladies, but, and my songs can relate, ladies can relate to, but I want to showcase the phases that a man goes through when he goes through heartbreak. So, phase 1 usually is, I don't care, you can leave, right? Therefore, así como llegaste, right? Then, after that, you're kind of trying to forget about it. After that, you kind of start missing the person. After that, they might be with somebody else. Then after that, you're all depressed. And then now it's time to forget about it. Your boys got your back. Let's go to the club. Let's go out. Let's do stuff. And then you meet somebody else, and then the circle repeats, right? So those are the phases I'm trying to go through this project. Artistically, when you hear the whole project, I want to make sure that it could be like a story to people, right?
Yeah.
And each song is a chapter. But when you listen to them individually, they're their own thing as well. So that's definitely coming. Heartbreak Mayhem by Cruz, and I'm very excited about this for sure.
That's awesome. I cannot wait to hear it, especially that you are infusing so many different genres or, genres that we don't typically see together. It sounds amazing. I think we might have to have you back, project, because...
Thank you. I would love to be back on this show, absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely think that we're going to have to, because this project sounds like it's going to be out of this world, so we're going to have to follow up on you on that.
Yeah, thank you. And just a little jewel, or I guess just a little snippet. My music videos that I've released. So I've released 3 singles, but 2 music videos for those 3. The third one's coming. We're planning it as we speak. But the first 2 videos, if you Me Perteneces a Mí, if you pay attention to the Así Como Llegaste, it starts off with a flashback to a fight that I have with my girl in the first video. And that's why I'm in the beach all tripping out. And then I start singing, Así Como Llegaste, te puedo decir, cuando tú quieras, right?
Right, yeah.
So, people, it's a trip, because when people notice that, they're like, oh, wait, the videos connect. Wow, so the songs connect. And I hadn't talked about Heartbreak Mayhem before this podcast, so definitely an exclusive. But yeah, I'm very excited because, the songs connect, but I'm also trying to make sure that the visuals connect. And they make sense. Kind of like chapters in the book.
Yeah, it's like true artistic form. It's awesome. That's a rarity nowadays, I would have to say, because a lot of times artists don't put that much effort and that much work into a project and making sure that everything connects and makes sense. So it's refreshing to see that and to have that to look forward to. It's awesome. So
thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So before we go, do you have any, and then also, how does everybody get a hold of you and follow you and stay up to date with all your music, because you got some big stuff coming here, and we're all very excited.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, definitely. So a couple points I just want to, leave everyone listening, and everyone trying to, do this and do music. First and foremost, don't give up, and don't take negative criticism in a bad way. On the contrary, take that to make your craft grow. You know what I mean? You got to have thick skin in this. So, you definitely want to be fearless and be ready for criticism, but also don't be afraid to put out music, because, if you hold those songs, you never know. You may gain some fans from that song, even though there might be some criticism to it. And then you just put out another one, and then put out another one, and put out another one, right? Like, you just keep going, keep the hustle going, keep the grind going, because you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. And, the second thing I want to leave the people with is learn the business. You know what I mean? This is the music business. Business comes first, right? Like, you got to understand the deals that you're making, the papers that you're signing, and how it works, right? What the process of putting out a song, all of that. That way, you really got a handle on your music. Whether you're independent or whether you're going to sign a contract, you got to understand those aspects of the game. You know what I mean? And feel free to reach out to anyone. The worst you could ever hear from anyone is no, right? Like, no, I don't want to hear your song. Or maybe you DM your song to people, and some may respond to it, some may don't. But that's the worst. No, it's not going to get worse than a no. You know what I mean? So, and with that said, feel free, all artists listening, feel free to reach out, and all the people listening interested in giving my music a chance and checking it out. You can reach me on Instagram at JayCruzMusic, J Cruz Music. And that's how you can get a hold of me on Instagram, jcruzmusic.com. That's the website. Twitter, whatever handle you have, let me know. Hit me up. And shout out to everyone out there in Miami, the East Coast, and all around listening.
Definitely. Well, thanks again for stopping by the show, and I look forward to this project. I look forward to having you back on the show in the next couple of months. It's been a pleasure. So everybody go check out all his music, check him out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. Look up J Cruz Music. Till next time.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. It was a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, J Cruz, así como llegaste.
Así como llegaste, te puedes ir cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. Ahí está la puerta, se te hace tarde. No voy a rogarte cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. No voy a rogarte. Así como llegaste, te puedes ir cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. Ahí está la puerta, se te hace tarde. No voy a rogarte cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. No voy a rogarte. Ahora no me hagas lo que dices que me amas, pero siempre me amenazas a mí, diciendo que estás harta, que ya no quieres nada, que ya no te hago falta y que te largas de aquí. Siempre te di todo, todo, pero nunca lo apreciabas. Piensas que me dejas solo, que sin ti no tengo nada, estás tan equivocada. Qué tristeza mi vida, nunca te diste cuenta de lo que te dio la vida. Así como llegaste, te puedes ir cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. Ahí está la puerta, se te hace tarde. No voy a rogarte cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. No voy a rogarte. Así como llegaste, te Ahí está la puerta, se te hace tarde. No voy a rogarte cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. No voy a rogarte. En verdad tú piensas que eres la única mujer. El mundo es tan grande y tengo muchas que conocer. Hay muchas igual que tú. Es más mejor que tú, que besen mejor que tú, que me aprecien más que tú. Así que hazme un favor, vete por favor y ya no regreses más. Ya no regreses más. Así como llegaste, te puedes ir cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. Ahí está la puerta, se te hace tarde. No voy a rogarte cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. No voy a rogarte. Así como llegaste, te puedes ir cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. Ahí está la puerta, se te hace tarde. No voy a rogarte cuando tú quieras, anda adelante. No voy a rogarte.
What an episode! DJ LX brought his sazon as usual. You can follow him at DJLX_MIA to stay up to date on where he will be spinning next. We also had our special guest Jay Cruz pass by to talk about his current singles and new project coming soon. We can't wait to see what he does next. Follow him on all social media at jcruzmusic and check out his website www.jcruzmusic.com for more. You can stay in the loop with all of our upcoming events and special guests by following at El Calor de Miami